Hello, welcome to this video. I'm so much excited for today's build, and it is including all the things that I've never done before. Guys, this build has everything and I've distilled everything. We are going to learn a lot from this build, and we are building a learning management system. You heard me right. We are building a learning management system. Guys, so many on YouTube have built learning management platforms, but most of them are not using them in production. And the thing is, most of them, they use test tools. They use things which can be used in production. The things they're using, all of them are in production, but they have free tiers. However much I'm going to be using the paid versions, but they have free tiers to test all those tools. And they really, it is a production grade. We are talking about using Amazon. We are talking about using S3, using CloudFront for CDN. We are talking all these video processing because it should be production grade. And to show you that I'm very serious, I already have it already hosted. In today's video, in the first episode already, we have the first version actually hosted on the actual domain, and we are doing all these inside the video step by step. I just went through and bought a domain, Next.js where you're just going to be having all the concepts for Next.js and related concepts. Guys, we are having authentication. There is no login with email and password. We are going in the OAuth. Continue with GitHub and continue with Google. You can continue with GitHub. Any of these ones nicely working. Okay, nicely working. I can see like it gives me that one. Why would it do that on giving the intro? But guys, you can see we have the Google authentication. We also have the GitHub authentication working. And in the first part, you can see we had to work on the to make sure I fix everything, deploy everything, have everything working in the first part. And you're having a very nice starter kit, having all these, some of the boilerplate code done, so that we concentrate on the most important things. So what are we going to be looking at? Guys, the tech stack is very solid, including things like, I'm just going to show you, we covered everything on the decision making, what we are going to use in everything. But most importantly, you can see that we are going to be using this one. We are going to be using Amazon S3 for storage of videos. We are going to use Amazon CloudFront as a CDN provider to distribute all the videos. We are using MUX for video processing. And then, of course, we're using the Next video for rendering these videos and all these nice stuff. Okay, so we have going all in this build, and the most importantly, it's going to be limited to only 3 to 4 episodes. It won't exceed 5 episodes at most. I don't want to make it long, so I'm just going to be concentrating on what is most important. And it is going to be very solid because I'm going to be using it in production. We have filtering, we have courses by skill, by project, by language, and all this was inspired by the jobs that we are searching on every day. So the courses we are doing, leave alone these long builds, we are looking at building a platform for the people who are looking for jobs. They are going to be courses which are skill and job oriented. In fact, we're just going to add the functionality whereby you can request a video by a job. You give us a job posting like this one, and then I create a course based on this job. Because most people will go on YouTube and you are learning at random. You know, you are learning everything everywhere. You have these big builds which are not covering job specific requirements. So the reason why I'm building this course platform is going to be building according to the jobs. They say because Next.js right now is among the topmost used language in the startups. That is for sure, but it comes with the add-on skills. You just don't need only the pure Next.js. You need to know AWS. You need to know APIs. You need to know AI integration for these different jobs. Okay, and this platform is going to be for that specific role. Okay, I'm going to be having short courses, but specific to particular jobs, and that's what we are building in today's build. And if you are so much pumped and you want to join us on building this one, let's dive in and get started. But before that, start by giving it a like so that YouTube can promote it. Thank you. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome. It's been really long. It's been like about a week or so without publishing any videos. I've been really working so hard to bring you the best. And in today's video, I'm starting in a very strange place. I'm starting from a Google search. And as you can see, I'm searching for Next.js remote jobs. And I'm very sure most of you must have come to this place, and you must have, at least if you are doing Next.js or if you have been a developer around, you must have come to a point whereby you're like, let me just search for a job and see what comes, or if I'm ready for this job or not. And Next.js being amongst the top front end frameworks, right now it is all over the place. All the job places, full stack jobs, they are using Next.js, and this is because in 2024, 2025, Next.js shoot up to be the number one for the most liked or the most favorable framework for startups. And this is because it is very cheap to run when a startup is beginning. Next.js is very easy to run with. It can do both the front end and the back end since it is running on serverless. And this has sold Next.js like never before, and it has should to be among the best frameworks. And by now, at least, I'm very sure you must have seen the Next.js jobs are so many. However, most of these jobs, if I click, for instance, in this first search here, and I click in this, you can see remote Next.js jobs, and you start like reading through these jobs. We can just go through and look at the skills they're expecting from a Next.js developer or a Next.js full stack developer. So if you look at this and just scroll down, you can see the years of experience. I may say this is really an overkill because 5 years ago really but the good thing here is like 5 years of professional software engineering, so it's not about Next.js. But you can see they want, for instance, these three things. Like they want React, Node.js, and SQL. Of course, you need to be familiar with also Next.js. That is the React part. And you can see the first thing you notice here is that you may be good in Next.js, which is React, but you don't know Node.js, and you also don't know SQL. So what does that one mean? Let me just search the second one to show you the point I'm trying to bring here. So I'm just going to go back to my search. I'm just going to go back to my search to the second. I want to go to the second job. Okay, so the second one is Next.js developer, just like that. I want to see the skills. So here it is very straightforward, Next.js and React. So if you know Next.js, this is a good one. So I want to go to the third one, which is this experienced developer with AI. So this one requires Next.js and AI integration. Okay, so you can see now, I want you to see the trend right now. This one is Next.js AI. The other one was Next.js, Node.js, and SQL. So as you continue down these jobs, I'm just going to click on this one. You're going to see now this one, they need to know you have also AWS, DynamoDB, API gateway, serverless architecture with TypeScript, of course with Next.js. And required skills is AWS, Next.js, and TypeScript. So what does this mean? What it means is that the way we have been learning Next.js, okay, however much Next.js right now is one of the top most used frameworks in startups, it just going to become very tricky as most people are pairing it with other skills. So you may find that you know Next.js, maybe you know how to build a Next.js, you can put an app, you can build a crude app maybe using Prisma, but then as you become more experienced in Next.js, okay, this whole kind of learning, the way you want to learn changes, because in the normal way how we have been making courses, the way you are learning, to build the point is that as these jobs emerge with specific skills, they are needing specific skill set like Next.js paired with AWS, Next.js paired with Docker, Next.js paired with Django, Next.js paired with AI integration. Now, the kind of learning you need to get into is going to be different from the traditional one. Okay? So the traditional way of learning is based whereby you go on YouTube and learn, for instance, Next.js full stack. It is good for a beginner. Like if a beginner is starting, that might be very nice, right? It might be very nice for a beginner to right away start by getting into crash courses. So you can just go and say Next.js crash course, and this gives you an overall of Next.js. But as you get into developing more applications in Next.js, like you are now about 6 months or 1 year, you start getting into specific skills. You want to tap into specific skills that these individual companies or recruiters are looking for. As you can see, they are very, very looking for particular skills. And what does that mean? It means if you are going to learn a course, you don't want a course that covers everything. You want, or you might need a course that covers that specific skill you are looking for. Let's say you wanted to apply for this job, right? Now you would want a course that covers Next.js, AWS Lambda, and DynamoDB, and maybe even API gateway, okay? And for the other one, for AI, you might want a Next.js application or a Next.js course with AI integration, okay? And this calls for the change in how we learn. So the traditional way of doing courses, okay, this one, it is very hard if you start getting into being experienced. The traditional of doing courses, we do a Next.js full stack course like 5 hours or 10 hours or 20 hours. And this is covering a lot of concepts. It is covering maybe the crude, Prisma. It is covering all sorts of things that might be good if you're a beginner. But if as you are getting more advanced, you would want courses to be smaller and to be tied to a topic, like a specific topic you might want. For instance, you might want to remind yourself about Next.js with Redux. You don't want now a course that is talking about so many things. You want a course that is specifically targeting like Next.js with Redux, Next.js with AI, Next.js with Next Auth, Next.js with Clark. So you want those kind of particular courses that are tied together by topic or by skill, okay? I'm just going to be using by skill because it relates to me more, like the skills these people are requiring. So this traditional way of learning, it leaves you in this concept of tutorial here. Why? Because every time you try to build something on yourself, because you did a 12-hour course, some of the concepts are embedded deep inside the course. You might not be able to easily extract them out of the course, and that becomes a problem. But what if you had a short tutorial whereby you can go back and remind yourself, and it has like a documentation with it. It is very easy to make a documentation of a topic, let's say Redux, Next.js with Redux. It is very easy to get a documentation about that one, rather getting a documentation for the full project. I think you're going to get what I'm meaning. So what if we have change into what we call concept learning, okay, or skill-based learning? This can be concept learning or skill-based learning, whereby you only learn what you need at that time. Maybe you are trying to apply for this course. You are preparing to apply for a particular course like this one, a job like this one. You are good with Next.js, right? But maybe you don't know AWS Lambda. So you want to prepare for this job. You build maybe a simple project or one project, and that's it, right? So now it becomes very easy to go and look for Next.js Lambda course, okay? You go and get a Next.js Lambda course, and you do that one. Within maybe one day, you are done, and you prepare for that job. That would be a perfect learning, a learning platform. And this is what we are going to build in today's video. So in today's video, we are going to be starting on building a learning management system. I'm very sure there are so many learning management systems that you must have come across on YouTube, okay? If you type in build LMS, you can see Udemy comes on top with an advert, because Udemy is a learning management system. A learning management system is a place where you can access very many courses online and learn them from there. And in today's video, we are going to be concentrating on building our own learning management system. Now, the key difference with all these learning management system, you must have seen these different learning management system. I actually like the one of Ediro here. I looked at his demo. There is Great Stack here. This was an Udemy clone. There are so many here. You can see the one by the mighty Codewiz Antonio. He has one. And actually, in all the people, it is only Antonio who is using his learning management system that he built on YouTube. And you're going to see why most of these people who are building this learning management system, they cannot use them in production. So we are going to build a competitive learning management system, and most importantly, the one I'm going to be using for my courses. And I'm very serious about this. I've been using Gumroad for the courses. I've seen the experience and the experience of my students. They normally tell me about the experience. Now I'm going to actually build my own next learning management system, and you're going to be using very latest technologies into this one, okay? So learning management system is really not complex out of the box. You know, the Udemy kind of way of things. It is really not complicated if you think about the architecture of it, okay? It is having two users basically. It has the learners or the students who want to learn, and it also has the course creators who are the teachers. As simple as that. Of course, it can have, for Udemy case, it can have the administrators to look at different analytics, but basically behind the scene, you need only two things: the teacher or the tutor, and you need also the student. And the flows are very easy. The student management, the learning management system has basically two flows, okay? So if you just go here on the, for instance, the first one, the student flow, okay? The student browses the courses, so you come to Udemy and looks through the courses. You can browse by category, by what, by search. Anyway, you need to browse the course and find the course you need. The second thing, you click on the course, okay? And you come to this course detail page. And if you just come back here, you come to the course detailed page. If I can just go here, where is my thing here? So you view the course. So the student goes and views the course. Maybe he likes it or he doesn't like it. He can go back to browsing more courses. But if he likes the course, he goes to purchase the course. Very straightforward. You go to the course detailed page and you have the enroll. Okay, you go to enroll and this takes you to the checkout. And it takes you to the checkout and you purchases the course. Of course, to purchase the course, you need to be authenticated, right? You need to be authenticated. Of course, here you can use so many ways to authenticate. In our case, we are going to use Next Auth, and we are not using login with email and password. I know guys that have been asking for this. JB, can we have a system whereby we are logging in only with Google Auth and GitHub? Yes. In this one, we are only authenticating using the Google and GitHub authentication only. Then he has to be authenticated. He goes ahead and purchases the course, and in the purchasing the course, we are going to use Stripe. Okay, we are going to use Stripe for purchasing the course, and then he can access the course material, and then he starts learning, and that's it. You simply go to Udemy, browse the course you want, purchase the course, go and start learning it. And that's it. You access the course material where you can watch the videos, download attachments, look at the notes, and all those nice things. The second flow is for the teacher. Okay, so the teacher flow is also very easy, actually, more than easy. One, he needs to go simply, you don't even need to browse the courses. If you are going to create a course on Udemy, you don't need to browse here the courses. You simply have to go ahead and sign up as a teacher. As you can see here, they have teach on Udemy. That's it. You teach on Udemy and you get authenticated and maybe verified on the system, like that. Okay. So you just find you need to just be authenticated using the teacher role. And by the way, in here we're having the student role. So we have some roles going on here, obviously. So we have the teacher role. He can access the dashboard. He can manage the courses. That means he can create, edit courses with lessons and all those things, the modules and the lessons, right? He can create modules. In the modules, he can create lessons. Very nice. And then he can see the students and the course analytics. He can look at, for instance, in this course, how many students do I have in this case? How many students do I have overall? And how is the course performing, for instance? Okay, so you can look at all those things in the teacher flow, and that's it. If you want to add the admin who is managing maybe teachers and all that, you can go ahead and do that. But since this is going to be my own learning management system, I'm going to consider those two flows. I'm going to be the teacher who can upload the courses, manage everything, and then I have the student. Now, this sounds actually easy, right? This sounds very easy if you think about it. You're like, JB, this is the thing we have just been doing. Not really. Why most people don't have their own learning management system? This is not easy. First of all, the whole authentication process can even just become a big problem, and you stop from there. And then you have to set up your own purchasing thing. Yeah, as you're going to see. Then the most important thing is the learning itself, the videos, because we are talking about not learning by reading just, it is learning by watching videos, and watching videos comes with its own constraints. Okay, leave alone whereby we publish on YouTube and things are working. Here you are just going to manage your own learning management system. It comes with two big problems. The first one is storage, right? So you have to get a reliable storage. That's going to be one thing, because you're going to be uploading videos in GBs, videos that are big, and they need. The second one is video processing. Leave alone the images whereby it is an e-commerce, you have images, you can play around with them, blah blah. We're talking about videos. Now, processing videos is one of the most hardest things ever, right? Like, if you wanted to build your own video, managing videos, it is not something easy. We are talking about things which are heavy and they are not easy to handle when you comes even like to Next.js. Have you tried to put like a video in Next.js, like a very big video that is more than even 6 MBs? You have a very terrible experience, right? And you can't keep them on any easy storage. And with that becomes a very big posing problem. Most probably because you can go away with storage. You can store your videos, of course, on Upload thing. They have a $10 tier with 100 GB storage. You can go away with that. But it is more than that. We are talking about processing videos, why you're not going to have users having the buffering all the time. You need to have a situation whereby users can have a very good access of videos and they can stream very fast. Now, with that, we go into video processing, and video processing is one of the most hardest part of the learning management system, leave alone doing the CRUD, because doing the CRUD is one thing, but taking this project to production becomes a very different concept altogether. Let's start with seeing how we are going to do this flow. So we are going to do this, and how am I going to manage the video processing. So let's talk about the video processing, because this is the technical bit of things, because all the things up here, these are very easy. Here you have with the student browsing the course, this is the home page with all the courses. This one is the course detail page. This one is the authentication, and then the accessing. The most important thing comes to now the real actual thing of video processing of the video. So let's look at the tech stack for the video processing. Now, you might just start with the easy one here, right? So you have the upload component for the videos. So you upload a video, and the video goes to the upload thing. Upload thing gives you back a video URL. Store this in the DB, and then I use that URL to run the video on the page. This is the direct approach. In most of these videos, the one you're going to see on YouTube here, if I'm to tell you, for instance, Edro is using AWS S3. That is nice. Actually, the one of Edro and the one of Code with Antonio, nice. Sony Sanga is using Sanity. I'm not just like a fan of that though. Like Sanity, you can just like see all these people use different approaches of uploading the videos. You can have the video upload, right? But as we have seen, this is the best thing you can do. You upload the video, whether it is 1 GB or 2 GB, it goes to upload thing, gives you the URL, and renders the video. What is the problem with this? The first problem is, one, let's talk about upload thing. Upload thing behind the scene is using AWS S3 for storage. So if it's going to be on scaling, you might just need to eliminate as a third party like upload thing and use S3 by yourself. Like instead you store the video, instead of storing them on upload thing, who is reselling S3 storage, you can just like simply use your own S3 storage. So that is about yourself. You can just say, I'm just going to eliminate this, and you first eliminate the third party here, so that you have now upload URL, you upload it to S3 and get back the video URL and render it. Actually, that is the next one. So we can eliminate upload thing, and we use Amazon S3. So this improves it a little bit in terms of costs, because Amazon S3 will be somehow more cheaper, right? And this is because we want to scale, you're going to use Amazon S3. So you can see it's starting getting interesting, right? So now we have upload video, you upload it to Amazon S3, and then you have the video URL, you get it back and store this in this one. Okay, what's the problem with this? We are having it cheap, which is nice. We have our video URL and we are rendering this video. Now, leave alone the images. We have been rendering the images. Images can be 6 KB, 50 KB. You can optimize them using the WebP and blah blah, and you go away with it. We are talking still about a 1 GB video stored on Amazon S3. So the first problem is the distribution. So you have the video stored on Amazon S3 in Europe, and your client is from Lagos and is going to stream this video. Definitely is going to be a very poor experience because of latency. Is going to be buffering a lot. The video is going to be buffering a lot. Okay, so can we improve this? Because here would want to give at least a better streaming, like a better access of this video to the user as much as fast as possible. And you can do this by including in a CDN. And how does the CDN work? A CDN works like if a user is in Europe and you put your video on Amazon in Europe, it can distribute this video across all Amazon servers in the whole world. In Germany, in South Africa, and all those stages or stations, they have those videos. So they will distribute this video on the first load. They will distribute this video to those centers, so that a person who is in Lagos is tapping into a server from South Africa, and the video is going to load much faster. Okay, so that is really nice. Okay, that means we can add in another thing, a CDN, and this is why we bring in Amazon CloudFront, right? We bring in Amazon CloudFront, and Amazon CloudFront, it is a CDN provider. Like it gives you, it's a distribution provider. It distributes your videos across all Amazon centers, so that you can have this really nicely. Okay, so now we have the video uploaded to Amazon S3, connected to Amazon CloudFront, and it gives the CloudFront gives us back a video URL. We store it in the DB and render it in Next.js. Okay, so now at this point, this is much far better, right? This is far much better. Now the problem we still have is that we are still having a 1 GB video, and we have internet connectivity, and this might be sounding something small, but internet is one of the key problems we have, not only in Africa, around the whole globe. Like internet connectivity, sometimes internet is strong, sometimes internet is very weak. So you would want a video to be processed so that you can have a video like rendered in terms of how it is processing. It can drop into 720, 360, 480, and we are talking about this is what Netflix and YouTube are good at, streaming. HSLS having different versions. You can play from 360, 1080, 720, blah blah, like this. Okay, now we go into processing the videos. Okay, now processing the video can actually quite get complicated, guys. I was researching about this. This can quite get out of hand, not only in costs, but can get complicated. There are two approaches to this. Okay, I'm just going to start with the easiest one that we are going to use. Okay, I'm just like found another third party. So here I'm having my upload video, goes to S3, gets to go at the CloudFront, and I get back the video URL, and this I pass this into what we call this called MUX. Is it like MUX? I don't know what the spelling of this, but we have this MUX, and if you go to MUX, guys, I'm very sorry if the name is not the right, like how they sounds. Okay, so the most cost-effective video infrastructure for business So this MUX is it's there to process the videos. It has a very nice player, and not only that one, processing to have it like not having any bufferings and what, okay. And I was really researching about this, and I found out that actually this Antonio, he used MUX for this, and no wonder he's using it in production. So I'm just going to be using MUX for video processing and giving us a player. And they built actually purposely for Next.js, they created a player called, or they created a dedicated package. They have a lot of packages for Node.js. You can use their MUX React player, but they have a dedicated for Next.js purpose. If you're using Next.js, they have Next Video Player, and this is done by them. So we have the video comes from this, and we pass it to MUX for video processing. So the one that you're going to be showing on the screen is going to be from this. It's going to be processing this URL, and it gives it those nice stuff, okay. It gives us like the HSL, it gives us the streaming, and like it breaks all that, and it puts them directly into a player, and we use it in this, and you'll have very smooth experience playing this, right? Now another route that would be, I don't know if that's like maybe cost effective, but another one that you could consider is, of course, the one that the YouTubes, the Netflix, the one that they're using, right? So in this case, I'm just going to go down here. In this case, you would just have you upload your video to Amazon S3, and here you will have two instances of the S3. You have the one with an unprocessed video, the one I'm calling the input bucket. So you have S3 input bucket and S3 output bucket, or the one that is going to store the processed video. Now you can create your own Lambda. So Lambda is a serverless function, the way you see, the way we have like Next.js functions. So Lambda gives us a ability to write your own functions or your own code for handling the processing. In this case, you can write your own Lambda and use this FFmpeg package. As I was researching, I found this FFmpeg package that can help you actually do video processing into HSLS, which can be streamable format, and you have also different format like 480 watt. This package can help you do it. You can write it using the Lambda, or instead of just like writing your own FFmpeg, you can just go with Amazon. They already have video processing services. They have, I think, Amazon, they call it, is it video element something converter? They have the converter they have for processing videos. Okay, so you can use their converter, and this is going to still work with a Lambda. So it works with a Lambda function. You set up a Lambda instance, and it works with that converter, the media converter, and that media converter can process it into your output S3 bucket. And like this is like the step the MUX is doing. This step here, MUX is doing this step for us. So it processes this, it puts it in the output bucket, and then in the output bucket gives it to the CloudFront. CloudFront gives you the video URL that you're going to store in this. Okay. Now I wanted actually to go this route, but because I'm not so much with writing my own Lambda, more especially with this package, and the other one, I was like, let me take it easy. In the next phase, I will see how possible, like after running for maybe about 1 year, as I'm getting more experience with AWS, I will see if I can switch to this layout. But in this video, I'm going to look at this. This is already so much far better, and I'm very sure there is a few or no in all these ones that are here who did that, because Antonio is just doing direct from upload thing direct to MUX, which is like also far much better, right? Yeah, so this is the actual you're going to use. So that was a lot of video, a lot of theory, guys. I'm sorry, but we had to first break this down. So where do we start from, guys? Where do we start from? Because I've said a lot and it feels like we can't get started with the project. But trust me, this is always important to break this theory out, and we see how we are going to get started. So in this episode, first of all, I have done some few things for you, okay? Because as we're having more important stuff to tap in or to focus on, there are some few things I covered down the road so that we don't focus on them. We focus on the most important parts of this. So what do we have already working? So for instance, I already put everything in a starter kit. I'm just going to link the link. You're going to find the link with this starter kit you're going to use in this one. Now, we're not using a more complex starter kit like the one we used in the inventory system. Inventory system was a big project and it is more based on the roles and permissions. While this one is having very simplified roles because it has the user, like the student, and it has the admin. As simple as that, you can add any other role you want, like a super admin or whatever. So the roles are a bit simple. So I already have a starter kit which is having the landing page. Okay, it has the landing page, it has the cost detailed page, and it has also a checkout page, not really done very well. And it has also the authentication working with the Google Auth and GitHub. Okay, so I already have that one working. I'm just going to simply get started with that. So what that means is that what you're going to do in today's episode, okay, this is not going to exceed 5 episodes, I promise. That one was even 10. I just want this one not to exceed 5 episodes, up to most 3, 4, up to most 5, but I think just going to finish it like in 3 or 2 episodes. So the first thing is to get a starter kit. Okay, this one is going to come with 3 things. The starter kit, if I'm just going to talk about it just in a second, the starter kit. It's just going to come when it has, for instance, Auth working. That is GitHub, and this. It has payments. This is with embedded Stripe. It already has a Stripe with it. So just configure a few things. And now we also have, of course, the dashboard is done, and then we have some, of course. What do we have? We also have the landing pages, the course landing page. You can just change this, and I will highly recommend that you go ahead and change the design a little bit, because I'm also going to be using this one as mine. So you can just change it to Udemy, change it to anything you want. I also try to adopt a different design from Udemy and all that, but the course landing and the course detailed page, those are very easy to design. But the starter kit just comes with a lot of few things configured so that we don't have to waste much time in the things we have been doing over and over, right? Okay, so what do we need to do in this first thing, right? So the first thing that you just need to do is to get yourself this code or the starter kit. So I'm just going to leave a link whereby you will go, if I can just go to GitHub. Let me get to GitHub. And let me just go to repositories. And it's going to be this repository, the Next.js Academy. Now for my case, this is already working. You're just going to download this and you change it. Okay, so you just I will just like also going to provide you, it might not be this exact repo, okay? I'm just going to be to try to get to another one so that you don't be in the master. In the master one, I will just create the starter kit, but based on this. Maybe I'm going to name it anything, but whatever it's going to be, it's going to be having whatever I've told you. I will just create this. By the time you watch, by the time you click on that link to get the starter kit, you'll find it prepared. Okay, take it that this is going to be mine. So the one that you're going to get, you're just going to go ahead, download it, and then the first thing that you just need to do is to go ahead. I will put all the instructions in here. If you just go to this, the instructions are going to be in this here. You will need to cron, and then you have to run npm install, and then you will have to go ahead and set up the environmental variables. This is the most important thing, right? Setting up the environmental variables for this one is the most important part. Okay, so if you look at the variables we have, I will duplicate actually in this. Let me just copy this, and I'm just going to rename this one to .env.example like this. So you will need a database. That is the first one. You will need API resend. You will need these keys for GitHub. Then you will need for Google like this. I'm just like putting this one so that you find them there. So you have the one for Google like this. Okay, and then you have these ones, we can just leave them like so. And also so you have the, I'm not going to use upload thing, but you just need the upload thing. So you need also to have the stripe. So these are like the most important ones you will need. So I will just like show you how to get some of these ones. So in this env example, and I'm just going to go ahead and actually I'm just going to, since I've done this, I'm just going to go ahead and first, because I'm just going to edit this one, I'm just going to create this, duplicate this. So let me first go to right click, reveal. So I'm into this, the Next.js Academy. So I'm just going to duplicate this. This is going to be the starter kit you're going to have. So let me just copy everything. Just remove this and also remove git. So I'm just going to have something like this. Copy everything, and this is going to be the starter template. Okay, I'm just going to name this one as LMS starter kit. LMS starter kit, just like this. And let me paste everything in here. Good, so that I don't lose them. So this is going to be your starter kit you're going to download. It will be like this one, okay? And it won't have the env, because after this you're just going to be having this. So if I can open this, so after downloading your starter kit, it will be having LMS starter kit. You can of course give it any other name. The first thing, of course, is to go ahead and install the dependencies. So you run npm install, and it is, of course, in the guides. In the README here, it is there, right? Just going to remove this. you will need to set up this. Let's go ahead and see where you can get some of these things. I'm going to try a few. They might not be all, but I'm just going to try to get a few of them for you. So you need to have the PNPM install. This, or will install all these, and now let's start getting this. Now when you run PNPM dev, you will get an error, more especially with the most one that's going to give you hard time is going to be this recent API key. They really need it, and also this stripe. So basically, don't start before you having all these things here. Okay. Database URL, you can get the database URL from very many places. You can get database from from Neon. This is why I got mine. I have the Neon console here. Go ahead, create a project, click on connect, and get this env here. Okay, get the env here. This will give you something to copy, and then come and put on your database. This is the first one. Then resend API key. This one you need to have a domain, guys. This one you need to have a domain. You have to have an email and a domain. And actually, speaking of domains, I already bought my domain for the Next.js So I went and I bought this, and guys, I know you might have been buying on Namecheap. Guys, going away, or I moved away from Namecheap. Actually, I might end up moving all my domains back to Cloudflare. I'm having a nice time with Cloudflare, so I'm going to might move all my domains to Cloudflare. And the reason why I'm moving them to Cloudflare is about the money. Cloudflare, you pay 10.8, something like that, and you're not advertising yet anyway. You're not going to find Cloudflare advertising, so they don't have those costs for advertising. So it is 10, and even on renewal it is 10. So very nice, I like it. The same as Vercel. Actually, Vercel doesn't advertise for the domain. Actually, you will not find it as a product they are saying that they are advertising for the domain. Even them, you buy at, I think, 10.78, and then, so Vercel is good, Cloudflare is good. In the future, I'm going to be using Cloudflare so many things, because they have a lot of nice things that I want to use from Cloudflare, the databases and so many other things. So that's why I'm getting into Cloudflare at all. They have those things for firewalls, all those things, nice things. So, but most importantly, they are just cheap. That's it. They are cheap. So I bought Next.js and after buying it, from here, first is you need to go ahead and you can deploy. Of course, you might have any recent API key that you're having for your own projects. I know I've told you this from the before. If you have any project for your client, it is not good, but for testing purposes, you can use that API key for resend here. You know, be using it until you get money to buy yours. But if you have yours, then you just go ahead and get the resend API key direct. Now, I'm just going to show you how to get the GitHub client, and this. All these steps are in the README file. Okay, this README file here, it has, when you go to GitHub Auth, go to your GitHub developer settings, create a new OAuth app, then set the homepage URL, and also set the callback to this one. Okay, this one allows you now for GitHub. I want you to pay attention. You might end up actually creating 2 or 3 apps for it to be able to work. Okay, for it to be able to work. And the reason being is GitHub, it gives you only to add this, the homepage URL gives you only one ability to add only one like this. It does not give you many, like the way we have going to see in Google Auth. in Google they give you so many URLs. So you might click the one that is going to work locally, the one that is going to work online on Vercel, and one for your .com. Okay. So for instance, I'm just going to go to mine, the one I created already, which is here. So you go to settings, developer settings, and just go to OAuth. You can create your apps here. So if you just come here, developer settings, click on OAuth apps, new OAuth app. So I already have mine. I'm just going to use, which is this, the Next.js Academy you are seeing here. Okay. So if you just look at the URL I have, for instance, I have added this one, the one for Vercel, right? And this even the callback for Vercel. But if you just go ahead, I have this hosted on Next.js Academy, or it is just like here working like this. So now to make this work, you need to copy the URL that you want to work, and then you come and use that one. So if I just go back here, after you can just come back here and you update this. So you can just like put something like this. Actually, Next.js the Academy maybe .com. Do I need to put this? https www.com. And then down here, I'm also going to put remove this and just add this. Make sure that it has one line. So then update. So you first you see it gives you only one. So if you want to have ability to have like one on localhost, one on Vercel, and one for the domain, you need to create 3 apps. Otherwise, you will have to keep on updating these ones. For the localhost you update, then for the you don't want to do that. You don't want to be doing those things. You just simply need to create 3 individual apps, and then you put one for the localhost, one for the Vercel, and one for the hosted the domain one. Okay, so that's it. So the good thing is on localhost, I'm just going to be using Google. So I only use this. So if I'm just having these 2, I'm going to use this one for when it is already deployed, like this one. And then on the localhost, I'm going to be using the Google, because Google gives us ability to add as many URIs as possible. Okay, let's go back to this here. The second one is the Google Auth. Google Auth, go to the Google Cloud Console. Okay, so you just go to your Google Cloud Console. This is the one. Go ahead and create a new project, and here you have to set up 2 things. Okay, you have to set up. I already have this Next.js Academy. I'm not going to create another one, but basically you create a new project. After creating a new project, and you have to set up 2 things: the consent. Okay, you have to set up the consent screen. If I just like click on this new project, I definitely going to delete this one. I don't want to create this this project, but you have these 2. So let me just go into it. Okay, so you have to set up 2 things. You have to set up the consent screen, and you're also going to set up the credentials. So start by clicking on the consent screen, put in the name of your app, click external URI, blah blah blah. That is very easy. Set up the consent. After finishing the consent, click on create credentials, and create credentials. They will ask you the name of the app. They will ask you the authorized JavaScript origins. This is very important. Okay, this is why you put all your links. Okay, this is why you put all your links. So I can just like actually copy this last one. Can I just like copy this? Copy this also. So for this one, you can add as many URIs as possible. So for instance, I can add another one like so, like this. So for it, you can add as many links as possible. Add one for the localhost, one for the Vercel, one for these hosted like this one, and one for also this one. Okay, so just add these ones, and then also authorized redirects. Okay, you simply also have the same thing like the way you have here. The difference is that I can paste like this and then copy this one. So for each individual you have on top, you also create for them this just going to paste it here like this. So for each individual links you have up here, you need to go them and you create these redirects. This is why like is going to be after clicking for the Google Next Auth to work, you need to have these redirects set up properly like this. So you can also set them like so. So you can see you can have this, then afterwards click save. Okay, now this one is going to give you two things: the client, of course, even from GitHub you get the client ID, the GitHub client ID and GitHub secret. The same thing, you get Google client ID and Google client secret. So go ahead and fill these ones in here. Okay, fill these ones in here. Now to generate this, to generate the Next Auth secret, okay, generate the Next Auth secret, you need to run, I think is open SSL run, then you say base 64, and then you specify the x32. Let me just try to run this. Okay, I'm just going to cut this, you may forget, and let me just put this here. So you just like need to run this, and you can see it gives you this random character. Just copy this, and now you fill this as your Next Auth secret. So that one is very easy. Run this OpenSSL run to generate for you. Then for the Next Auth URL and Next public base URL, they are these ones. You don't have to worry about those ones. Now you can just go get the upload thing. If you're not going to use Amazon S3 for the image upload, and the we might just actually use like upload thing for the images, like the thumbnails. You might just use, but I'm just going to store everything in Amazon S3, even the images. So you might just need to have these. If you're going to use upload thing in this case, you might just need to have these ones. The next one is the Stripe public key and Stripe secret key. That one is easy. Go to Stripe. So I have my Stripe open here. If you log into your Stripe, by the way, even if you are coming from any other country, Stripe allows you to create the test mode, and you can see these. Your keys are here. Okay, your keys are there, and you have the publishable key and the secret key, and you see PK for publishable key, then you have SK for secret key. So you can just like check out those ones and make sure you have them like that, because if you just look at you need to have PK and also the SK. As I may just like, as I've said, you just need those two. Okay, so just go ahead and copy them. They're just even on the home page. This time it is just even on the dashboard direct. Those days you have to go ahead and say like develop something, and like you just go to API keys, and then like you have them here. This side you can just see them. You can also still copy them from this side, but they have simplified it. On the dashboard direct, they have them. Simply click, it copies. Click, it copies. Nice. So you don't need to actually hassle with anything right now. Okay, so nice. That is really nice. So you have all these ones, okay? You have all these beautiful things that you can do. You have set up everything. Make sure that before you just leave, you have all these ones filled in. The next thing you need to do right now, you can now, I'm just going to close. You have run pnpm install. Now you can run pnpm run dev. Okay, you have to run pnpm run dev, just like this. You can just come here. You have run pnpm install. Then now you can say pnpm run dev. Okay, so at this point, this one should just like simply run your project locally. We are not having anything complicated here. I'm just going to close some of these things right now, right? We don't have something complicated here. I'm just also going to close these ones. I simply want to go localhost 3000 like this. You should have a page not like this one. I'm just going to show you the home page that we're just going to have. Okay, so you should have like a home page like this one, right? Here you expect to see login because you haven't created any account or whatsoever. You can actually log out, and you see it should just look like this. Okay, it should just like look like this. So basically you have these, and then you have the cost listing here. We'll be updating this soon, but you have the cost listing as you can see here. Okay, and now as you can see on the courses, I got them from these jobs, and all the Next.js based courses I'm going to be making on this platform, and even the whole thing of building this one was about the jobs, guys. It was about the jobs, and sooner or later I will add a link for the job portal. Here we might just update this and we will create our job portal, and basically I'm just going to be broadcasting the Next.js jobs. Even if you have any API and it is payable per month, I have no problem, but I will have to have a job portal where you can just like more especially focus on Next.js related jobs with paired with all different backends and the different things. Okay, so down here on the courses, of course, I have some insights that I got from the research. You also have these insights. They will be changing with time. And then here are the courses. So you can see courses. You can see all the courses. Then you have three filters. You can have courses by skill, and these ones are going to be like the way you see you want Next.js TypeScript. So you have like, of course, these ones are not going to be having for the 2 lessons, or like they can't even have for 2 lessons, but very short. But these ones are going to be more so like focused on Next.js with TypeScript. Can we have like a 2-hour video, the whole entire course, like only 2 hours or 3 hours, but focusing on Next.js with TypeScript, okay? And maybe Zod and all that, like simple as that. And then, for instance, GraphQL with Next.js, authentication, SEO, Tailwind with Next.js. And that is like by skill. So you can't just say by skill, but then you choose the level. You're like, I want the skill, but I'm a beginner. So you choose by skill and a beginner. And then you have like React fundamentals. This like could be the first one. You have all JavaScript concepts you need to know. Like you see on the 3 courses. And then you can just of course have like now by skill, but intermediate. And this is going to give you now the intermediate ones. Or you say, what about the advanced? and then it has like this Next.js performance, SEO, Next.js with Honor, you know, and then you can just like choose now by project. Okay, so we still have those ones with the big projects, building like a dashboard, those big projects that you would want to learn, for instance, for the structure, learn how everything makes sense. Like those big projects are going to still be there. The clones, they will be still there. Okay, and then finally we have like with different languages. So you can see with different languages, but maybe for all or for beginners. And you can see, for instance, Next.js with Node.js backend. So this would be a very interesting one to learn. And if you just change like maybe to intermediate, and then add like Laravel, add like Nest.js, Python, Fast API, then we have Ruby, we have Encore, Convex. Like it's going to be like for very many. If I go to advanced, you see I have like Spring Boot, Rust, Go. So I'm going to be pairing them with, like, as you can see here, these courses are really focusing on the individual understanding of something. You might just be interested only with Next.js and Rust. Like, is that even possible? Like, if someone wanted those two skills to be good in Rust and Next.js, how would that look like? Which project would that be? And this is going to be not only a constraint to me alone. It's going to be with you guys. We are going to have ability to learn and concentrate. For instance, the search. You can just say, okay, guys, I now need, for instance, AWS. Can I have anything to do with maybe AWS? And you can just come here and say all levels. So you can see here I have AWS with Next.js, okay, and then I have this also, this social media platform, which is also having some AWS, okay. I can just say maybe we just say maybe EC2 or what, or even RAG, for instance, for that matter, like RAG or AI. So we're just going to be having these granular specific courses that are just going to be for the person who is looking for a job, because the person who's looking for a job is not looking for everything, is looking for that specific thing. So this comes with all this, like the search is on the front end, it is working, and then we have also the detailed page. Okay, it might be not the best, but this works for me because I want right away when someone clicks on the page, he has the course intro. This is what we all look for in YouTube. When you go on YouTube, you want to see the course intro. Is this good for me? What are they going to cover and everything? So after watching the course intro, of course, you can read the description, a simple description, a summary description of the course. Then you look at the statistics. How long will this take? It's a 4-hour course. How many episodes? 24 episodes. And then how much is it? It is this much. Then you can enroll, and this is going to be taking you to the checkout page. And then some other things is you want to look at the course outline, like what is inside this course, right? And then you read through the things, like the course outline, to know what is going to be covered. Does this make sense? Because in the job, they might be talking about something. You need to know how to create an API, blah, blah. So if you are going to talk about maybe Next.js and Laravel, are they talking about the concepts I need? So you can see them from the course outline. Then we have the projects. What projects are they going to build in this course? Of course, this we are going to do much better than this. We just like are just like rushing to do this, but we're going to make this one to look much better than this, right? It can't look terrible like this. And then resources. The projects are going to be built inside the course. Okay, what are they building in this course? And I find it very important to me. When I'm going to take a course, I want to see what they're going to build. And then resources. What am I going to? Which resources are they providing? For instance, access to the repository. Do I have access to the code? Yes. Do I have access to the documentation that we used? Yes. Can I look at maybe like there's a Postman collection. There is maybe a cheat sheet. Okay, there might be a cheat sheet that maybe summarizes this whole thing. So these are like the important things I would want to see about the course. Then down here, of course, you have similar courses. Just like if you have liked this one, you might just like get to like maybe these other ones. Then finally, you have about the instructor who is teaching. We're just also going to customize this one. So finally, we also have, I think, checkout page. If I can just say it is like checkout, I'm not sure. We have also the checkout page, and you can see this is loading Stripe nicely. So this is Stripe on the page. So we have the course that you're just going to buy, and then we have Stripe, and you simply put your card direct from here, pay, and this is done. Like this is on page, guys. So just going to customize this to look maybe much better than this, but so far this looks great. And with that, we also have the authentication. Look at this. Look at this. We're having, this is the authentication we have. We have Google and we have GitHub. There is no sign in with email and password. Okay. And this is really great. So you can just go ahead and sign in. Since you're just like I'm just going to use Google. So this goes ahead. If it is your first time, of course, it will take you to authenticate, allow, and blah blah, all that. But if you have already done, you can see a nice thing here. It has logged in here. I can now go ahead and access my dashboard, right? And the dashboard you're going to see is for the student. So you can see there is nothing much. We are going to customize this in the videos. We are going to be working on this, but you can see we have the image, we have the name. These are being pulled from your Google authentication. Okay, so we'll be customizing these panels really nicely. This is what we are going to be working on. Now, since we have seen all the pages, what we have, of course, if I change this with Prisma, I'm just going to say Prisma Studio. So actually the studio is running. Can I see the studio? Let me first stop the studio. Run it again. So that we can just look at. So if you look at the accounts, of course, this I'm just going to show you how that one works behind the scene. But this creates an account and also goes ahead and creates the user. So if you look at this, we have a user like this, first name, last name. Then we have all these ones. So you can just come here. You can just come here and change this role from the user to admin. Save changes. Okay. So you can change this role to admin. Now he's an admin. Let me go and log out. Go here. Let's log out. And you can see now on the logout, we have the host page. Like instead of just like the login, we have the host page, which has the same thing. Let me log in again. Okay, so now we are just logging in as an admin. Okay, so this is an admin, and you can see the admin, you have more things. Okay, you have like these things here. We have more things. You can look at the users. Of course, you're going to customize this to look so much better, so much amazing. But this is a starter kit. This is what I could provide. Okay, but just going to update this to look much better. Remove the pages we don't want. For instance, the blogging, I might leave the blogging or remove it. I don't know if I'm going to be writing blogs for this my course platform. I already have one for blogging. The blogs, I already have a platform, so we're just going to see how we're going to manage this one. Okay, but so far this is working. So what do you need to do right now is to go ahead and push this to your GitHub. So normally people, when they clone, when you clone, why don't I first create actually GitHub right now? So let me just show you one problem people always have. I always find people challenged when they, so I'm just going to go to repositories. I'm just going to go new. I'm just going to call this one LMS Learning Management System Starter Kit. Just like this. I'm going to make it private. I'm just going to go ahead and create. I'm just going to go in that repository. Okay. I will just simply go and copy something like from here. Let me just go to that repository that I created just here, LMS Starter Kit. This is the one, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and first push this to demonstrate. So this is the one. Oh, okay. This is the one. So I'm just going to say git. Now, right now it has no git. So git init, and I'm just going to say git add dot. This will add everything, and then I will just push this very fast to demonstrate. Now, this pushes the code to this to here. Okay, so you have this pushed nicely, right? So when you just go to clone this, because you're going to be added into this repo, the LMS Starter Kit, it will be added into this repo. So when you come to clone this, okay, so you just go any other place. Let me go to YouTube builds. Maybe let me just go ahead and clone this. I'm just going to name this LMS Starter Kit test. So you want to clone it into this folder. I just open git bash. So you can just like open git bash here, and you have this, you can just zoom in, and I have like git clone, and then I paste my repository like this, and I can name it anything else. Right now it's going to be called LMS Starter Kit. So you can just say, for instance, I can name it as my, maybe let's say call it like Udemy clone, like this. So this is going to clone it into Udemy clone, and it is done. CD into Udemy clone, and let's say code dot. So before code dot, if you just say go to this repository, it is inside here Udemy clone, you will see it comes with the .git. This is where people get confused. This .git is actually connecting to my repository. Okay, it is targeting my repository. So the first thing you need to do is to go ahead and delete this. Go ahead and delete this. Okay, go ahead and delete that. And now when you open this in VS Code, okay, you can do the same process. So now you have a brand new repository that you can connect it to anything. It shouldn't show main here. If you're seeing main, that means you are still on my repository. So delete the .git, and now you can go ahead on GitHub, create a new GitHub repo, connect it to this project. And now we need to go ahead and deploy. Okay, the problem you're going to get with deployment, if you have any issues with deployment, is going to come from the environmental variables. The one that are so key is resend. If you don't have the resend API key, and you also don't have the stripe, these two, they will actually give you an error, guys. These two, they will not allow you to run or to deploy the application. So it is good first set up all the environmental variables. You have them. Go ahead to Vercel and go ahead and deploy. Okay. Now, if you don't know how to add, if you want to add your domain, that is something very easy. You simply just need to go to the domains and go ahead and add a domain. They will give you They will give you the DNS settings to add to your place, like this one. So you can see they gave me these 3 ones: the text, a, cname. Add them here. This will automatically connect with your Vercel. So you have the Next.js Academy.com working, as simple as that. Now, if you have, as I can show you the deployments, let me show you. I actually had the errors. If you look at this deployment, the first one, the first error was about bcrypt, which I fixed. Okay, so the bcrypt, we are using bcrypt.js. If you just go back to this and you search, for instance, to bcrypt, if I can say bcrypt, you will see that we're using bcrypt.js instead of bcrypt. Bcrypt has issues on deployment. Even all these ones are having using bcrypt.js. So that is the first error that you got. The second error that I got, I'm showing you the error so that you understand that I got some errors while deploying this. The second error that I got was about Stripe. Okay, I had not added the Stripe API keys. So you need to add the Stripe to make sure you don't have this problem with it. And then after that, it went through. After that deployment, the third one, you can see it worked. Okay, so that's it. You need to have those ones, deploy this, and let's get started. I know at this point we are all set. We have not added anything in the code. I've not edited anything, and this is going to be the starting of the next episode. Okay, this is going to be the starting of the next episode where we start customizing. Right now, take your time in this first episode. Make sure you have deployed it and you have the green and you have added all those what are they called, these ones. After you have deployed it like this, go back to your this whole thing here, the Google Auth client, and add all those the Vercel link and everything. So in our next episode, we're just going to be working on building or starting to build our system. The first thing is going to be cleaning up the dashboard, making the analytics page, and like making it look much better for the boss users. We have 2 users. We have the normal user, who is going to be a student, and then we have the admin. As simple as that. We'll create those 2 custom dashboards, and we make sure everyone is having. We'll clean up, remove all this. We'll also look at the database management, looking at how many modules do we need and everything. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this episode. It was really great breaking all these concepts. In the next episode, we're just going to do much more, where we are going to really actually start the whole entire project. So thank you so much. What I want right now is start it, customize everything, get to this point where I am, whereby you can look at the hosted version. And after you have put the hosted version, go back to your GitHub, update these links here, and now you can log in using GitHub. So if I just go back to this here, I can just go here. Now I can sign in with GitHub. Okay, so you just need to configure this with the GitHub, and you can see now I think just logged in using GitHub. So there is, I'm just going to first log out. Let's go ahead and use like GitHub. So this is the one for GitHub uses this, my full name, and the one for the other one for the localhost, you're going to see it uses, I think, JB Web Developer. If I just like to log out this, the problem, they all use the same email. Okay, they are all using the same email. That's what the problem is. You need to be having different emails. So if you use the same emails, they will reconcile to use only one. Okay, but you can see this is from GitHub and it is working very nicely. Okay, yeah, so thank you so much. I will see you in the next episode.